In this video, we explore the top 15 countries where Indians face the most challenges in 2024. While Indians are known for their resilience and adaptability, migration to certain countries presents significant hurdles. From racial discrimination and cultural barriers to economic hardships and strict immigration policies, many Indian communities abroad encounter unique struggles. Join us as we delve into the obstacles that Indians face in these countries and understand the complex issues that shape their experiences. Whether it's in terms of employment, living conditions, or social integration, this video will highlight the realities of being an Indian migrant in some of the world's most prominent destinations. 15. Italy. Italy has emerged as a destination for Indians, particularly those seeking opportunities in agriculture, small businesses, and domestic work. However, the challenges faced by Indian migrants in Italy are substantial. Many Indian workers in the agricultural sector face exploitative working conditions, including long hours, low pay, and minimal labor rights. Language barriers and the lack of recognition for foreign qualifications make it difficult for professionals to secure jobs matching their skills. Discrimination and xenophobia, though not widespread, are still concerns in some regions. The complex immigration and residency processes add to the difficulties for Indians looking to establish long-term stability. Despite these challenges, the Indian community in Italy is growing, contributing to local economies and enriching cultural diversity through Indian festivals and cuisine. 14. Singapore. Singapore is a favored destination for Indians due to its booming economy, excellent education system, and proximity to India. However, challenges persist, especially for the growing Indian migrant population. While professionals in fields like IT, banking, and healthcare thrive, many Indian workers in lower-impact jobs face difficulties, such as long working hours and limited labor protections. The high cost of living, particularly for housing and healthcare, places financial strain on families and individuals. Additionally, stringent immigration policies limit pathways to permanent residency and citizenship, even for long-term residents. Cultural adaptation can also be challenging, as the multicultural environment sometimes exposes Indians to subtle biases and social exclusion. Despite these obstacles, Indians continue to excel in Singapore, with the diaspora playing a crucial role in the city-state's economy and cultural diversity. 13. Oman. Oman hosts a significant Indian population, particularly in sectors like construction, healthcare, and retail. However, Indians in Oman face numerous challenges, particularly for those in blue-collar jobs. The restrictive sponsorship system limits job mobility and leaves workers vulnerable to exploitation. Harsh working conditions, delayed salaries, and inadequate living facilities are common for laborers. Cultural differences and restrictions on certain freedoms also make integration difficult for Indians, especially non-hospitals. High dependency on employers for visas and legal status adds to the uncertainty of their stay. Despite these difficulties, Indians in Oman contribute significantly to the country's development and maintain strong cultural ties through community networks, temples, and Indian schools. 12. Germany. Germany is an increasingly popular destination for Indian professionals and students due to its robust economy and free higher education. However, it presents significant hurdles. The language barrier is a major obstacle, as proficiency in German is often a requirement for employment and social integration. Many Indians find it difficult to adapt to Germany's formal work culture and societal norms, which can be less inclusive than they expected. Racism and xenophobia, while not pervasive, exist in certain regions, creating discomfort and insecurity for some. The bureaucratic process for visas and residency permits can be complex and time-consuming, leading to frustration for Indian migrants. Additionally, the cost of living in cities like Munich and Berlin is high, which can strain finances, particularly for students and young professionals. Despite these challenges, Indians continue to excel in technology, engineering, and research, making notable contributions to Germany's innovation-driven economy. 11. Malaysia. Malaysia, with its historical ties to India, offers opportunities, but also presents challenges for Indians. While Indians have contributed significantly to Malaysia's economy, especially in trade, education, and healthcare, they often face systemic discrimination. Ethnic quotas in education and employment make it harder for Indians to access opportunities. Lower-impact Indian workers in plantations and manual labor often experience poor working conditions and limited upward mobility. Additionally, language barriers and cultural differences can hinder integration for new migrants. Rising living costs, particularly in urban areas like Kuala Lumpur, add to financial pressures. Socially, the Indian community struggles with issues of marginalization and limited representation in politics and policymaking. Despite these difficulties, Indians in Malaysia remain resilient, excelling in various sectors and maintaining strong cultural traditions. 10. Kuwait. Kuwait hosts a significant Indian population working across various industries, but challenges abound. Indian laborers, particularly in construction and domestic work, often experience exploitation under the kafala sponsorship system, with limited legal protections against unfair treatment. The lack of robust labor rights means that many Indians face delayed salaries, poor living conditions, and restricted mobility. High living expenses in urban areas make it difficult for families to save, while cultural differences and societal biases sometimes lead to discrimination. Additionally, Kuwait offers no clear pathway to permanent residency or citizenship, even for long-term residents. Professional workers and business owners face competition in an economy that increasingly prioritizes local employment. Despite these obstacles, the strong Indian community in Kuwait continues to thrive, contributing significantly to the economy and maintaining cultural ties through schools, festivals, and religious institutions. 9. Qatar. Qatar has become a key destination for Indian expatriates, particularly in sectors like construction, healthcare, and services. However, the challenges faced by Indians in Qatar are significant. Many workers, especially in blue-collar jobs, deal with the restrictive kafala system, which binds them to their employers and limits their ability to change jobs or adverse grievances. Harsh working conditions, long hours, and inadequate accommodations are common for low-income workers. Despite recent labor reforms, enforcement remains inconsistent, leaving many vulnerable to exploitation. Cultural differences and the inability to practice certain freedoms can be particularly challenging for non-hospitable Indians. Additionally, high living costs, especially in Doha, place financial strain on families with limited opportunities for permanent residency or long-term stability. Despite these issues, Qatar's thriving economy and opportunities in professional sectors like IT and healthcare attract skilled Indian workers, while the established Indian community provides some support for new migrants. 8. France. France presents both opportunities and challenges for Indians, particularly students and professionals. Language is a significant barrier, as fluency in French is essential for employment, accessing public services, and social integration. Many Indians struggle to secure jobs despite their qualifications, as employers often prioritize EU citizens. Indian students also face difficulties finding internships or work after graduation due to restrictive visa policies. Racial discrimination and xenophobia, though not pervasive, remain concerns, especially in smaller towns or among those working in low-paid jobs. The high cost of living in cities like Paris further adds financial pressure on Indian families and students. Additionally, cultural differences, such as contrasting attitudes toward work-life balance and social interactions, make adaptation challenging for many. Despite these hurdles, France's focus on innovation and its growing Indian community provide avenues for success. Indian professionals and students contribute significantly to French society, finding ways to overcome these challenges while enriching the country's multicultural fabric. 7. South Africa. Indians in South Africa, though part of an established community, face significant challenges. The country's high crime rates pose safety concerns for Indian families and businesses, especially in urban centers like Johannesburg and Durban. Economic instability and unemployment levels affect job security and business viability for Indian professionals and entrepreneurs. Instances of xenophobia and racial tension, exacerbated by economic disparities, create a hostile environment. For migrants, including Indians, cultural differences and language barriers can further hinder integration. Moreover, the lingering effects of apartheid policies have created systemic inequalities that still affect minority groups. Despite these difficulties, Indians have made substantial contributions to South Africa's economy and culture, particularly in trade, healthcare, and education. 6. UAE. The UAE is home to a significant Indian population, drawn by opportunities in construction, healthcare, and technology. However, Indians face challenges despite the economic advantages. The residency system in the UAE is closely tied to employment, meaning job loss can lead to visa termination, creating financial and emotional stress. Many Indian workers, especially in blue-collar jobs, experience harsh working conditions and limited labor rights. High living costs, particularly in cities like Dubai and Abu Dhabi, make saving money difficult for middle and lower-income families. Cultural differences and societal hierarchies can sometimes lead to subtle discrimination in the workplace. Additionally, the lack of pathways to permanent residency or citizenship means many Indians remain temporary residents, even after decades in the country. Despite these challenges, the strong Indian community, robust business opportunities, and proximity to India make the UAE an enduring destination for Indian migrants. 5. Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has a large Indian population, primarily employed in construction, domestic work, and healthcare. However, Indians in Saudi Arabia face numerous challenges. The restrictive kafala system ties workers to their employers, making them vulnerable to exploitation and abuse. Limited labor rights and the inability to switch jobs without employer consent further complicate their situation. Cultural constraints, such as restrictions on personal freedoms and the inability to practice religion openly, create additional hurdles for Indians, especially non-Muslims. Moreover, the lack of pathways to permanent residency means most Indians live as temporary workers, despite decades of service to the country. These difficulties are compounded for lower import workers, who often endure harsh working conditions and limited access to legal recourse. Despite these issues, Indians remain a vital part of Saudi Arabia's workforce and economy, contributing significantly to its development. 4. Australia. Australia attracts thousands of Indians yearly due to its strong economy and excellent educational institutions, but challenges persist. Many Indians report instances of racial discrimination, particularly in less urbanized areas. International students often face exploitation in part-time jobs, with lower wages and poor working conditions. Strict visa policies make it difficult for students and skilled workers to transition to permanent residency, adding stress to their stay. The job market, while offering opportunities, is competitive and sometimes inaccessible due to local experience requirements. High living costs in cities like Sydney and Melbourne add financial strain, especially for families supporting dependents. Cultural differences and the distance from family back home can make adaptation difficult. Despite these obstacles, Indians have carved a significant niche in Australia, excelling in sectors like healthcare, IT, and academia. 3. Canada. Canada is a favored destination for Indians due to its welcoming immigration policies and high quality of life. However, settling in Canada comes with challenges. The increasing backlog in permanent residency applications has left many Indians in limbo, waiting for years to gain legal status. Despite having strong qualifications, many skilled Indian workers struggle to find jobs matching their expertise, often being forced to take up survival jobs due to the requirement of Canadian experience. Rising living costs in major cities like Toronto and Vancouver place financial strain on families and newcomers. The harsh winters are another adjustment, especially for those coming from warmer climates in India. Social integration can also be challenging, as cultural differences and biases sometimes lead to subtle discrimination in workplaces or communities. Nevertheless, the large Indian community, supportive networks, and Canada's emphasis on multiculturalism provide a foundation for Indians to succeed and eventually thrive. 2. United Kingdom. The United Kingdom, with its historical ties to India, remains a popular destination for Indian migrants, yet challenges persist. Post-Brexit immigration policies have tightened, making it harder for Indians to secure work visas and permanent residency. Many Indian professionals, despite being well qualified, face workplace discrimination and limited upward mobility in fields like healthcare and IT. The cost of living in the UK, especially in cities like London, is exceptionally high, creating financial burdens for families and students. Rising instances of xenophobia and racial prejudice, partly fueled by anti-immigration rhetoric, further strain the experiences of Indians living in the UK. Indian students, although celebrated for their academic achievements, face difficulties in transitioning to the workforce due to visa restrictions and a lack of local experience. Despite these hurdles, the Indian community has demonstrated remarkable perseverance, excelling in business, politics, and cultural integration. 1. United States. The United States remains a top destination for Indians, but presents significant challenges. Stringent immigration policies, such as lengthy green card backlogs, make it difficult for Indians to achieve long-term stability. Rising incidents of racial bias, hate crimes, and xenophobia create social and world-class universities. Students, while benefiting from world-class universities, face high tuition costs and uncertain job prospects due to restrictive post-study visa policies. Economic downturns, particularly in sectors like technology, have disproportionately impacted Indian professionals. Adapting to cultural differences, such as communication styles and work-life balance, adds to the complexity of integration. Despite these hurdles, the Indian diaspora continues to contribute significantly to American society.